wherever you are. This is Stephen and RJ, and we're here today to talk about bots, messenger bots. Hello, RJ.
Hello, Stephen. How are you? You've frozen. Right in the intro. You froze a little bit there, Stephen.
I think my
Do you want to refresh? I will
if
entertain folks as you
can you
refresh.
hear me?
I can hear you now.
We're going to have moving back.
This is an auspicious beginning to what is going to be a really beautiful show today, everybody. We're going to talk about bots in regards to events. If you are having a live event in the future, or if you're having an event online in the future, we're going to talk about definitely some ways that we can use bots to help get information out, to help with problems. Sometimes we're gonna talk about, but bots is a great way to get butts and seats for your event. But what do you do once people are there? We're going to talk about all of that today. We're going to use our FDL bot as an example that we had last week for 5 days live. And now Stephen is back, so we can all be properly welcomed into this show.
Indeed. Just let me get the agenda. I've got the agenda. Not as much on it, but we can build up as we go. And say hello to Kim. And if you want to join us on camera, Kim, you're more than welcome to do so. You just need to type guest.
Kim Bultsma, type guest.
Yeah. We had it is a bit befuddled. You come to mention that. It's not befuddled, it's not the word I would use. Bemused, perhaps, is probably a better word. And we say hello to John and Kim, and Kim is going to set up a camera. Brilliant.
Okay, very good. Okay. Very good. Brilliant.
Right. Now, we were talking, you started to mention bots for events, because we gave a bot that you created, the FDL bot. Well, it had a christening last week, and it came through spectacularly.
It was more than I thought. I was more because I just thought, oh, maybe people will, maybe people will access this on the replay or something. But let me give you a short explanation. Let me give the audience a short explanation of what it is that we did, so they'll have some context for what we're talking about here. So last week, Stephen Healey, the great Stephen Healey, came up with an event called 5 Days Live, and he grabbed 8 hosts, and we went online, and we were talking about every day during the week. We talked about different aspects of going live for the first time. We discussed camera confidence, repurposing, all these different things that you can do to, little hurdles that you can cross and get online and get streaming like the two of us crazy people. It was a great event. We had a lot of people there, and we had a lot of fun. But one of the things that we decided to do, just as an extra for this online event, was we decided to make a tool inside the bot that if you typed FDL in the comments, which stands for 5 Days Live, I know we're so clever, aren't we? If you typed FDL in the comment thread of any one of those shows, then you would, hey, Catherine, then you would get the bot to pop up and say, hey, do you want to catch replays? Do you want to be reminded of the new shows that are going on? Do you want to find out more about the hosts? So we gave people, 3 options. If they, and the hosts, what I had done was put their little bio information and put a couple of links to be able to connect with that person and get a hold of them. Stephen Healey had his free class in there. I had my Start Your Bot shop that's happening tomorrow night. I had a link to that in there. So we all had this, these information and such. And I thought to myself, this is just icing on the cake. It's an extra touch of what we can do for 5 Days Live. And the response to it was pretty amazing. The response to it was, I think we had 50 people type that in. Stephen, did you count?
Yeah, close to 50 people typed FDL in. Mm-hmm. 10 people took my Udemy course, which is all good. And we had a lot of interaction. I mean, it was just amazing to be actually sat in the show and watch everybody typing FDL. And it just simply worked so well.
I admittedly was quite distracted. When that happened, I had to, I wasn't on the air with you, so I could go and look at what people were doing inside the bot. And what I figured out was that, because I've always been kind of reticent to pushing too much content during the show, because that's going to lead people away from you, right? That's going to lead people to not watch the show, which what's the point of a show if nobody's watching? But what I found out was that people loved accessing this content. People were looking up the hosts and hitting all the links and seeing everything that we had to offer. So here's my question, Stephen Healey, because I always have a question for you.
I know.
Here's my question. What is this going out on Live Video Hub or on the Be Live in 5 page?
Be Live in 5.
It's on Bliff. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have been setting up bots, reminder bots for folks to get butts and seats to their show. And that is working really well. But what kind of extra content could people know about Be Live in 5? What kind of extra stuff? Like, we put show hosts, replays, and reminders on one. Is there something similar that we can do for Bliff bot? Or if you have a reminder bot, what can you add onto that will get people digging into your content while they're listening to you talk?
You could have a show bot. And that would basically, because you were watching the show the other week, weren't you, when the guest didn't turn up straight away? Can you explain what you did after that?
Yeah, watching a show where the guest doesn't turn up right away. There was also a show too where a guest was having real trouble with internet. I was watching a show that already had a bot attached to it, the Aaron Strayer show. Aaron Strayer, I know you're here. I was watching Aaron Strayer, and she and Jen Weatherly on the Illustrious Ones Monday morning show. They're interviewing a guest whom I know to be excessively entertaining, and I mean that in the best way possible. This guy, I love when he makes a post. I read it every single time because he makes me smile and he makes me think, and I love his posts. But his internet was so choppy, he wasn't coming across really. He wasn't coming across as good as he could have. And I had a thought immediately, which was, oh, well, I know that on the show announcement, because Aaron Illustrious Ones has a bot that reminds you of the show. I know that there was a link to his new program on that. So right. While this internet issue is getting sorted out, I'm just going to check out what he's got going on. Mm-hmm. And then it occurred to me, bots as a safety net for when people don't show up, for when people are having terrible internet problems and need to disconnect, reconnect. What I've done forever as a show host, and I've seen you do this about 1 billion times, Stephen, is that when people are having problems connecting, we just cover. We just keep talking and, bring up questions and engage the audience until that person can come back. Well, here's another way that you can engage people during, times when people, when people are late to the party or when people are having problems. You can engage them also directly with that person's content, or you can engage them directly with, here's more about BliffBot. We're planning on doing the 5 Days Live again in October. Would you like to get news and updates about, when that's happening? Or would you like to be, led to the Be Live in 5, the last 5 Days Live? So we can do any number of things. A showbot can do any number of things during an online event, which will engage people further into. It's like having a choose your own adventure on steroids now. Because we can engage people right in. So what do you think about all that, Stephen?
Well, I think that I was surprised as well that people typed FDL and then waited patiently, or seemed to wait patiently until after the show before they went and explored. But if you get a spot in the show where you say the guest is having problems, then you've got something you can actually ask people to get involved in, because that's the other thing. It is a great way to involve people, isn't it, during the live show? And if you've got details of the host of the show, the guest of the show, the topic you're talking about, and commercial links as well, what could be better? Because you're actually, if people are new to the bot, they're actually doing the opt-in, so yes. you can virtually go an open door, and you can make it as informative and as commercial as you like. I think both of us would start with informative and work up to the commercial, but it is there, isn't it?
Yeah, the opportunities are there. And when I, going through and putting in the links for all of the show host bios last week, I started with the informative, and the last link was always a link to something, if the person had a commercial link, that was always the last one, because, to me, I'm always wanting to start a conversation first. If a sale happens, it happens, that kind of stuff. But using that as a way to further connect with anybody who's on screen with you, as a way to further connect with you and your content as well, explore some upcoming topics, suggest some upcoming topics for the show, that kind of thing. It really cements some relationship building stuff. And that's the kind of thing I'm really interested in for all of my online stuff. So I'm looking at, for my own show, Tuesday, Thursday, 1:00 on Black Belt Bots page and everywhere, because we're everywhere. But the getting some different elements into. Yeah, this is a reminder bot, but it can be so much more. And we're working on that with clients as well. What other information can we lead you to? How else can we engage you with the material during the show, so that when we go offline, you still have something to look at and engage with?
Yeah. And the other thing is that after the show, you can edit the post and put at the top of the post, if you want more information, type FDL now, because what most people don't realize is that it's not just when the show's live, it's the recording as well. The bot is still there. The bot is still watching and waiting for the command to actually do something. So this is a great way of actually getting communication going on a recording. If you just put at the top of it, type FDL or whatever it is, to get information. Yeah. I mean, I did a show yesterday with Fonz, which was an experimental show. Let's just bring up a couple of things. But it was an experimental show called I Live Here. And basically, once you've got the sort of format of the show bot, I would deploy it so that for I Live Here, it gives my bio, Fonz's bio, and information about the place that Fonz is visiting. So that after the show, or during or after the show, you can actually find out more about what the show is about. I'll take that down.
Yeah. More about, and that's it being a brand new show. A couple of paragraphs of explanation of what the show is about is really cool, because here's the deal. You don't have that much out there on what the show is about now. And I know that you're probably introducing it that way, but a lot of people don't necessarily tune in for the beginning, middle, and end of a broadcast. They'll catch part of it, come back later. If you have that information of what's your show about accessible at all times, then it's easier for people to get caught up in the situation when they're, just catching a middle part or an end part of the show.
True. This has got so many possibilities. And talking of possibility, there's a possibility of Kim joining us for 15 minutes. So if you type guest Kim, please.
Yes.
Are we good? Yeah. We're good. Right. Okay.
15 minutes is fine, Kim. Listen, for your wisdom, whatever, we'll take it. She says that because she's got a show that starts in 15 minutes.
All right. Okay. So hello to Fernando, and Kim has just typed guest, and we have 2 spare seats. So if anybody else, right. Okay. Hello from, now that I would say Sia was California, but it's not, is it? It's Canada. So we say hello to David. And all good. Now, when you told me about I misunderstood. And this is not unusual, because normally we talk through things 2 or 3 times so that we've both got the same picture in our minds and we move forward on that basis. But I listened and I thought, well, I read it that the show's got problems. What do you do? And that's gave me rise, or the impetus to come up with a new bot, which I'll be working on, which is called the Be Live Connection bot. And basically, as we say hello to Kim. Hello, Kim.
Hi. Hello. Whoops, I got to move over, don't I? There we go.
There she is.
You're good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
It's the first time we've been live on the same show. Absolutely brilliant. Right now.
Yeah, Stephen, it's the first time we've been on camera together.
This is a first, and we say, right, okay, now I'm just talking. When I was speaking to RJ earlier this week, I totally misunderstood what RJ said. And that's my fault, not RJ's fault. So I thought, guest is having problems. What you actually need is a Be Live connection bot. So that you say to your guest, if you're having problems, go to Messenger, okay, type in help, and the Be Live connection bot.
It helps you troubleshoot through what could be wrong with your connection.
Exactly.
What to do. Oh
yeah.
How genius is that?
So
right?
You go. I was thinking about this. That you go into the bot, and it says, "Are you the show host? Are you a guest on desktop? Are you a guest on mobile?" So you pick one of those 3 options, and then according to which option you've chosen, it then does the fault finding. Because we know this is not rocket science. It's just a question of going through a tick list. Yeah. Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Right. So that's what I'm working on for next week. So there we are. Welcome, Kim. So.
Thank you. I like that idea.
Also, Stephen Healey, a show prep bot.
That's a good title. I like that title. Let's go with that title.
All right.
Right.
I like that.
Kim Bultsma, what incredible wisdom do you have to share with us today?
Okay. You said something before that I've lost it, but you said something that made me think about something else. Okay, it'll come back to me.
Was it a good thing?
Yeah, it was. Okay, well, it was you and I we go through and watch a lot of shows together.
Yeah.
RJ and I have Thursday afternoon you Fine. And we watched a lot of shows, and it was okay. This is what it was. And, when people, you were talking about when people hop in the middle of shows and stuff and end of shows, they go back and watch the replays. I think the one thing that kind of bugs me a little bit about when I do go back and watch replays is the people who sit there and they spend all this time hey, at the beginning of the show, talking to people, they go through the highs and stuff, and that's great. I think it is important that you do say hello to some of your guests, but you remember we were watching somebody's show that was recommended to us. And it was, I think what was it? We had to scrub through a solid 5 minutes.
Solid 5 minutes of highs.
Yeah.
And, I understand why people want to do that. They want to acknowledge the people that have taken the time, as we do. I mean, Stephen produces this show, so he's in charge of when people get helloed. On my show, what I try to do in the beginning is different. I try to cover, well, first of all, I cover, hey, if you're not watching hit the link and I'll see your questions, what, blah, blah, blah. I do cover that immediately, but I try to dive into a little bit of content before I go back and say, hey, how you guys doing? Say hey to Barbara here, or whoever has shown up for the day. I try to do that because you don't necessarily have a lot of time to land somebody in the middle of here's what's happening today.
Right.
So that's interesting. So let me take it further. Well, Stephen has a thing before that.
Yeah, I've got a thought there, which is always dangerous. But if during that 5 minutes when you're actually boring people, you can say to them, whilst you're listening to me, go and check out the Showbot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, if that was your point, I do.
No, but one thing that I've kind of taken a clue from is Erin Strayer. I've started to use her, how she does the beginning of her show. And I've started to do some things with my own show at the beginning to do that. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, my name's Kim Bultsma. Welcome to whatever the name of that particular show is, where we do this. And she does that really well. And I love it. And she's diving in and she may saying, hey, look, Franco's here, or, Wayne, good afternoon to you too, wherever you're at. Cause apparently it's afternoon where he is and it's morning here, and I'm still like moving through the motions of getting my show underway, but I'm still acknowledging. And I think that's what we gotta like as these live shows, and to keep them, cause the thing that I've been talking about a lot is we only have 3 seconds to get someone's attention.
Yeah, that's true.
We have 5 minutes of hellos to go through, And so, I mean, I think I think as live show producers, people, directors, whatever, we really got to find a fine line of, we got to say hello, acknowledge our audience, get them involved, but also get our content underway in a meaningful way.
Yeah. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to keep people on track and engaged and expecting something awesome. Let's see. Catherine just posted that Aaron has a cancellation and sent out a little bot here. So of course I'm gonna have to read what is going on. But
yeah, I mean, this is great. I mean, exactly right. We can still acknowledge this. It's part of our show. But we're not spending 10 minutes talking, saying hi to people, but we include that, make it part of our show. But I think that's part of getting in the live space and becoming comfortable and, doing this stuff that we do.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I love that. I love that because keeping folks engaged is super important. You could totally use your bot to keep people, get people engaged in the beginning of the show. Stephen uses this as a guest bot. One of the questions that I have, and I haven't answered this for myself yet, is I wonder if you can attach more than one growth tool more than one comment growth tool per post.
Right.
For instance, hey, type guest if you want to get on. Type this if you want to find out more about today's guest. She gave bonus content like a virtual substitute teacher. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you're not on Erin's bot, get on Erin's show bot and see what she posted. It's fantastic.
How am I not on her bot?
How you're not on the Erin Strayer show bot? I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got to correct that. So you can attach more than one growth tool to a post, right?
More than one comment growth tool?
Yeah. And here's the rub.
Come on, bot queen.
Here's the rub, because I do things by accident, not by design. I did it by accident, and basically what happens is you, as a user, as a viewer, you can respond to one growth tool. Yeah. As soon as you've done that, it says, I've heard from you. I don't want to know again. So if you've got two running, any user can actually hit one of the two, but can't hit both.
Okay, so in other words, in example terms, if you're sitting out in the show audience and you say, type guest, oh, Wayne, we've got some explanation to do, my friend.
RJ is it.
Yeah. Thank you. So let me explain what a bot is and what it does in just a second. And that's of course one piece of information we could put on Bliff here to get people, organized in that. But so to take your example, Stephen, if I'm sitting in the audience and you say, type guest if you want to be a guest on the show, type live if you want to get more reminders. If I go ahead and type guest and get on the show and do some stuff with you, and then later on I want to go back to that same show and type in the comment thread live so I can get back on the other one, it's going to say, no, I've heard from you, we're done.
That's right, and nothing happens. But what we could do is,
go ahead. No, I think I'm having the same idea you are. Go ahead.
No, I'm back to you. Go.
So what you could do is, you're gonna pop off.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop off because I got to get my show. I'm so glad I got to come on with Stephen Healey at the same time.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure. Yeah, let's do this again.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
So the idea that I have is that, okay, if you've got a bot that's if you say at the beginning of the show, type live for reminders, type guest to get on and be a guest, type info if you want more info about today's show, then no matter what people type in your message string that you give them back, you give them opportunities to do the other two things.
Right. Yeah.
So if I type live for reminders in that message thread, I'm also going to say, hey, if you want to do the other two things, here's a button to join us as a guest. Here's a button to get more info on the show today.
Yeah.
So you can totally, I see why they have the comment tool shut off after one, but there's no reason you can't include options to do the other two things that you've mentioned right in that message thread.
So design aware around it.
Yeah, design a way around. Oh, yeah, of course. Darlings.
Of course.
That's what
right. Okay, now comments are coming in. Thank you, everybody, for the comments. And Wayne's saying, yes, you do, RJ. I'm a bit behind on that one, but obviously it's a yes, which is all good. We like yeses. And just to Giacomo, sorry for misspelling your name a moment ago. This is live. Mistakes happen. We do know that Premiere is launching worldwide, but slowly. So if you don't have it yet, you will have it. I found it yesterday. See, to play a pre-recorded live video. So that will help us all, especially with bots, because you could put a bot against it. And just brings up to date. And before we answer the big question, in short, it is something you need if you want to keep your followers on point with what you are doing. So that's the big question is, okay, and just sideways for a moment. When you upload a recorded video, it will give the option for Premiere. So you've got to upload the video, and then it will give the option for Premiere. And yep, okay, right, and we're smiling too. And we welcome Tim Gillette, and it's good to see Tim.
Tim, hey, how you doing? It is good to see him. It is good to see him. I've been noticing a lot of posts lately about a convention he has coming up. So so awesomeness.
Brilliant. Right, which brings us to the big question, which well, what is a bot?
All right, Wayne. Here is the nutshell of what a bot is. Messenger bot is something that you can attach to a Facebook business page that will allow your business a channel in Messenger to talk to people. A lot of people are using you've been able to send a message to somebody's business page forever. This is like the upgrade from that, where you can deliver a series of automated messages to people to either, teach them about, the 7-day mini course in whatever it is you teach, or get them show reminders for whenever you go live, or, there are a ton of possibilities. But basically what a bot is a conversation on steroids. It's held on your Facebook Messenger business page, and it allows you to talk to as many people you want all at the same time, have great conversations, build some relationships, and make your business go further. I hope that was a succinct answer, but if it was not, you always have the option to type in more questions down there, and we'll get to that. So type in some more if that didn't answer your question, and we will come back to that. This is all about using bots for. Today we're talking about using bots for events. So if you're having a live event such as this live streaming show, if you're having something online, you can use them. If you're having something live, you can also use bots for those kinds of events to keep people engaged with the material, to keep people coming, and to keep people interested and communicating with you long after your event is done. So Stephen, if you'll pop back on. Or maybe he's having problems. I can certainly fill the time, but I use a bot during my shows, and to me, having a reminder bot, as for when you are putting out content, doesn't have to be a live stream, folks. It can be anything. You can have a little reminder bot every time your podcast drops, every time you write a new thing on your blog, every time there's some information to look at, listen to, read on the internet that you have produced. You can set up a reminder bot to go out and remind people, give them a reason to be there, give them a link, and you will get more people participating with you on that content. That's what people want. They don't want to produce all this content just to have it sit out there. They want people to engage with it. So getting a reminder bot's key. I am putting on a bot shop tomorrow night, 7:00 p.m. It'll be recorded, so if you can't make it for the bot shop, that is okay. But I am taking people through signing up for ManyChat, creating a reminder bot, just like I just outlined, and creating some broadcasts that will help engage people long after your event is over. If you want more information on that, go to startyourbot.com, and I'll give you some more information right there. I would love to see each and every one of you there, especially if you're thinking about starting and you don't want to commit to, I'm going to, pay $1 million to get this thing done, or, whatever. If you just want to get your feet wet and start having conversations with people right now, you'll walk out being able to do that tomorrow night. So, all right. That was our commercial break, Stephen.
Well, that was two breaks in one, because I hope it didn't show. I lost the internet then.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I lost the internet totally. So it just shows that the power of BeLive.tv, the show went on. RJ was on camera solo anyway, so it just came together really. And Wayne is saying, I thank you. It seems to be understandable. I'm going to do some more research on this. BOT is the acronym for?
BOT is actually not an acronym for anything. BOT is just what they're calling them. So if you're doing research on this, type in Messenger bot on the internet and get some stuff. You can always hop over to my page, Black Belt Bots, and you can see a number of the shows that I've done on the subject and kind of get familiar with what's going on. So either type in Messenger bot and do that, or hop on over to my Facebook page and check out some of the stuff that I've been doing there. I host a show Tuesdays, Thursdays, and give you, concepts of how you can use bots. talk about the best practices about how to use bots. I talk about bots constantly. In fact, I can't stop, and that's why I'm on this show right now, here today. So,
indeed,
yeah.
I'm glad you are.
Me too.
And Giacomo is saying, what bot service? You mentioned ManyChat.
Yeah.
So just to confirm that. And how is your Spanish?
Mine.
Penanilo. Oh, it's Brazilian. It's Portuguese. Ah, right. Okay. Apologies, Carla. We don't have a Portuguese translation bot working at the moment. To help us, if you could type that in English, please. Just, one day we will have translation bots.
Oh, we will. Facebook Messenger's working on this, people, but it isn't available worldwide yet.
Because we've talked about this before.
We have
real-time translation.
Real-time translation.
It's got to come. It's got to come.
Yeah, well, and they've talked about it extensively. I think they're rolling it out for Spanish first, and then they're going to be rolling it out to different languages as well.
Indeed, absolutely brilliant. Now we've talked about today. Oh, wait a minute. Tish is here. Hello, Tish. The show's really rocking now.
It's complete.
We've talked about bots for events. Basically, how bots can be used for event last week, which went from Monday through to Friday. With the 5 days live bot, what we found was the interaction was just off the scale, really. Nearly 50 people actually typed FDL whilst we were live, because we didn't start until Tuesday. You had the idea Monday night, you burned the midnight oil, the bot went live on Tuesday, and Tuesday through to, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, nearly 50 people actually typed FDL in the comments, went off to find out more about the show hosts and the rate of us. Each show host had links that were clickable to go off to their website or to take an action or market to sell something. And 10 people actually took my offer of a free Udemy course. So all we can say is we know that bots work.
We do. We know. I mean, the kinds of relationships that my clients have been able to build because of bots is pretty simply amazing. And to me, I mean, I don't have a billion followers. I'm not Gary V. I don't have a huge following of people clamoring to hear every word I say. I'm not yet filming the documentary constantly, is what I'm saying. But I am a person who wants to find clients to work with that are pretty compatible with me, with my way of doing things, who want the same things I want. I want to find those clients. And I also want to develop relationships with people who aren't clients, with people who maybe they know somebody that they could refer, or maybe they know somebody that I need, or maybe there's some way we can collaborate in the future. When you treat relationships online all about whether there's a dollar sign in them or not, you're cheating yourself. And it's always going to be a disappointment somewhat. For me, being able to develop relationships is the heart and soul of why bots work as they do. Because now, Stephen and I can look back and see how people interacted with certain things and look at that and say, who are the hosts that people were most interested in? Mm-hmm. What did they click on? What are the topics that people are most interested in hearing for the next 5 days live? There's a treasure trove of information already in the bot. And then there's an endless amount of questions that we can ask the people who attended and say, hey, what did you like? What did you not like? What can we include next time? Where's the focus going to be? And we can put on an even better event for FDL2, which is happening in October.
It is. FDL2 is the 1st to 5th of October. Same team, same 5 days, Monday through Friday is the second time around. And we learned a lot on the first time. So we can say with the this is going to be, you use bots on steroids. This is going to be learning on steroids, because we've got this stuff now. Well, most of it. You'll join in to find out. Right, and Giacomo's saying, can I ask a question about Bot Shop?
Please tell me everything.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. You can ask a question about Bot Shop. And then we went on to discuss the changes to the reminder bot to make it into a show bot. Yeah. So you're going to sort of widen its scope.
Yeah, widen the scope of what people can type in to get different responses. Widen the scope of that, because to me, it really opened my eyes that bots can do so much more during a broadcast, and then also kind of widening that to events that are happening. If you've got a convention coming up like Tim does, or if you've got a live event or a workshop that you're holding somewhere in your vicinity, how can a bot help that as well? For me, the way that people can use that is, first of all, I do all of my registration and stuff right within ManyChat, because it allows people to pay and register and do all of that. Which is really great. And then I can send you reminders, links, and all of that. But it also allows me to, when people have registered, it allows me to ask some questions. Hey, what would you like to see covered in this thing? Is there anything special a special question you'd like me to answer, or a special topic or a problem that you've been having? Let me know, while I'm preparing for the event that I'm holding. And this works for live events as well as online. I can prepare content that is much more geared toward the actual audience that's going to be sitting there. I don't have to theoretically go, what will people want to hear about? I can just ask them. I can just ask.
True.
For live events, putting all of the host information in, that is something we did for FDL that worked really well, along with any links that host might want to promote. Sometimes with the bigger live events, you've got sponsors, putting all of the sponsors in there with links. Oh yeah, can't wait for 5 days. 5 days live too. Absolutely, the sequel.
Return off.
Yeah, exactly. It is giving people information about what's going on, when people are going on, and it also, with live events, will cover what if somebody's flight was late, and you've got to schmooze that schedule around. In a bot, you can just let everybody know at once. Hey, this person can't go on it too, so here's how we're flipping the schedule around. This is our new stuff. Have a great day. You'll also back that up from the podium, right? You'll say, hey, this is, what's going on. But people will already know what's going on, because you're able to send out an agenda real quick and be able to change things around. Say there's significant interest in an after party of some sort. It's not something that you planned on, but it's something that that you can put up real quick. But how do you let people know? Back it up through the bot. Let people know there, announce it from the podium, that kind of stuff. And then when the event is over, and this goes for online and live events as well, what did you get the feedback? What did you love? What did you not love? And here's the thing about a bot that is not true about any survey that you could send out. You ready? It just gives people questions one at a time. It doesn't present the questions all at once in that format, because people will look down the page and go, how many of these do I have to answer? And ditch out of that thing. If you've got one question to answer at a time, that is much more how we approach a normal, natural language conversation. And that is a way that then people can come back and answer thoughtfully one question at a time. Maybe they'll only make it through 2 or 3. That's fine. You've still got, list your most important one first. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, getting feedback for how people felt and what they want to see for the next one, is indescribably valuable for those of you who put on events.
Priceless.
Priceless.
Priceless. Giacomo's got his question here, and I'm going to read it. And it's, do you share how to set up a paid course like you're using for BotShop, i.e. adding a credit card to pay for watching?
During the bot shop, I'm focusing on a couple of things. I'm not focusing on that particular topic. I'm focusing on getting started with ManyChat, setting up a reminder bot, and how to produce engaging posts that will engage your people after your live stream or whatever content you're trying to get people to is over. So things like adding a credit card, things, extra things. We may get to it depending on how many people are there. People will have the ability to ask questions. But yeah, that's not the focus. So I can't promise, but my friend, if you want to connect with me and ask some questions, I do have an Ask Me Anything free 30 minutes. You can ask me anything about bots. And that is available in my bot as well. So maybe I need to put a link to my bot on here. Check out mybot.com. I actually don't have this up at the moment because I always fear the sound problem, but I will put that in the links later. If you want to ask me questions about how do you connect up a credit card and all that kind of stuff within ManyChat, you can sit down with me and ask me any question you want. 30 minutes. I'll put the link in there. It's checkoutmybot.com. We'll do that a little bit later on because I don't want to detract from the, moving forward too much. But I hope that answers your question. If you have more, type them in there and we'll get to them one at a time.
Wonderful.
Very good.
And an observation from Lynn. And hello, Lynn. Stephen and RJ, you make it look so easy to do long lives. Well, I'm going to put my hand up here and say, if you'd seen my first live in October 2016, it wasn't like this one. I was on camera. You can't imagine it now, but I was struggling for things to say. I was gone on stage and forgotten my lines. And it's only through doing show after show after show that you get comfortable. The other thing is that when you're working with two people on screen, and this is the brilliant thing about the show we do today, RJ, is that we get on well off screen, that we can come on screen and just continue a conversation.
Yeah. It's true. When you push the button to go live today, I actually had noticed no change in the conversation we were having to the conversation we were having live. So yeah, it's thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. You're the best. That is absolutely true. Listen, if you had seen my first live too, you would see a little bit different of a personality. Here's the thing about live streaming. You have to learn about it while doing it. Your best learning about doing, what will come while you're doing it, what you can say on a show, what to save for a later conversation, that kind of thing. You learn through experience. It's much like driving a car. And I can't stress that enough. The more you drive, the more you know. And the more you stream, the more you know. Just don't stream and drive. Stephen will come and get you.
Well, Don't Stream and Drive is a campaign in the UK, which John Upton and I have hosted. It's a police run campaign. And the basic premise behind it is one day where we remind people that you shouldn't be on your mobile phone and driving at the same time, because it just doesn't work. So Don't Stream and Drive, there is an equivalent in the States. It's just not good. But back to point. I mean, it is baptism by fire, Barbara's saying, and learn while living. Tish, good, and Lynn is smiling. I mean, that's the other thing. That if you do smile and you do enjoy it, then it's just like it's talking to a friend, and we're able to listen to what you want to interact. interject into the conversation, and it's a sort of three-way, at least. Right. Okay. A question from Barbara: is it best to start streaming live on a laptop? Well, the true story. This is a true story. We've been out for the day today, and we went to Laycock Abbey, which is in Wiltshire, in England, and it's the home of a gentleman called Henry Fox Talbot. Now, if the name doesn't ring a bell, don't worry, but he did the first ever photograph. He created, you remember the days when you used to have a Kodak camera, point and shoot? Well, he in the 1800s, 1835, invented the negative. And that's how he was able to take one photograph and create prints, because he invented the negative. So that's at Laycock Abbey. But also at Laycock Abbey is, that's where Harry Potter, or part of Harry Potter, was filmed. And the cauldron from the Harry Potter film is actually still there, because it was too heavy to move it away. It's still there in one of the rooms in the Abbey. And it's a great place to visit. But that's by the by, because the conversation I had with Angelica was from somebody who was going to start teaching online. And they wanted to know whether their their old PC with Windows XP, you got that, Windows XP, would be good enough to actually do a broadcast. Cut a long story short now, I've gone off on a tangent. To answer Barbara's question, the most important thing that you can have when going live is good broadband, a good internet speed. You can go live from an 8-year-old laptop, no problem at all. We can't all have Ninja PCs we bought last week with fantastic graphics cards, but we can all have, hopefully, decent broadband. Your thoughts, RJ?
Decent broadband, yes. Some people are more comfortable with their phones. Some people are more comfortable on a laptop. You know what? If you're starting, pick where you're more comfortable first, and then try the other one later on. You've got enough to deal with, dealing with nerves and whatever else you got going on for the first show. Go somewhere you're comfortable. If you are more comfortable handling your phone, try the interface out twice. Here's the thing about live streaming too. It takes 3 seconds to erase one if you don't like it. You don't have to keep them all online. You can just go bloop. I didn't like that one. We're done. And that is something that I did when I was first starting out too. So don't be afraid. Go live with both. See which one you're comfortable with. And Stephen is right. Have some good internet speed. Do this for me. I'm actually wired into the internet at my house when I do my shows, just because I have a wired connection and I'm able to make that possible. And it helps a little bit, but you totally can do it off of Wi-Fi too. Just make sure you got a good connection and hit the button.
Sound advice. And Lynn is saying she's excited about going live. I'm not saying that RJ and over, but we did start years ago, and we still get excited about going live. And that's the brilliant thing about it, that going live is exciting. I mean, it's like going on. It's like going on television, really. So that excitement never leaves you, Lynn, and long may it continue. Indeed. Wow. Okay. Right. And also during this show, I announced the Be Live connection bot, and that is going to help the host of a show, a guest on the show, to actually sort out the connection before they go live or after they go live.
Yeah.
All right. And Catherine's actually going to be on. I'll bring it up on the screen again. Any excuse, really. Catherine's actually going to be on I Live Here, which is absolutely brilliant.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to that. And I think part of I Live Here is that it is an opportunity to go live on mobile, talk about an area you know about. So you're talking from knowledge. And it's just a 10-15 minute segment, sort of. And basically, there is a air of mystery to the show, because we won't be pre-announcing where we're going. So we couldn't end up anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So anyway, that's my advertisement. I Live Here is on Tuesdays at, well, we start early in the day. It's at 9 a.m. Eastern, and we're traveling the globe, Fons Chamberlain and I. And Lily's saying she can see so many possibilities. True. I mean, we could do together and solo. We can do 5 shows a week on different topics, can't we?
Oh,
quite
yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
But in fact, I do 5 shows on different topics every week.
You do.
And you do. And we do 3. And you do. Well, you're not far behind.
I'm not far behind. I've got 4 a week now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guest spots. I mean, I reckon that you're busier than I am at the moment.
It is. I have recently had to expand a little bit and hire a VA to work with because I for me, this is the heart of the matter. Getting on a live stream, talking to people about what I do, talking about bots and the possibility and my passion. That is something that no one can ever. I mean, I want to be out front. I want to be the face. But what that causes me to do then, as my business grows, is I'm now outsourcing some of the administrative type stuff that I'm not necessarily interested in doing. I need to get some of that out of the way so that I can do the work that's coming in. So that's a long answer to a short question, but yes, it's hopping over here.
Right. Okay. And Lynn is saying she could have been your VA. So that's it. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
I shall, because it's my plan to have more than one. It's like, because folks get busy and you kind of need to balance the load sometimes, or folks go on vacation. So I'm looking at having, more than one. So Lynn, if you're interested, ping me and we'll talk. Yay for VAs.
And we're getting a yay for VAs.
Yeah, baby.
Brilliant.
Yeah, baby.
Brilliant. And what we love about doing live video is meeting up with you folks all the time and enjoy your company. Right, okay. Lynn was the secretary in a previous life. Well, we've all got previous lives, haven't we? I started off as an accountant, so I could get involved in bookkeeping, but I was an accountant, then a software designer, and now sort of helping people with live video. So we can all have several careers over the course of time. And Barbara's saying some of the VAs are good at certain tasks, and Lenny's saying thank you, RJ. And then Barbara's coming back with, well, we love you too.
We love you too.
We love you too. This is brilliant. We've done it again. I mean, we've sat down and talked for an hour, and we've actually, made progress as well.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, with everybody's help.
Yeah.
So, I opened the show with a smile and continue the conversation that RJ and I have been having. And the tradition is that RJ closes the shows. And it's all right. Catherine's just saying, Lent, it's almost The Walking Dead. What were you before? All right. Okay, fine. With that, over to you, RJ.
Well, so major point, going to bring it back around to if you are doing, if you're doing events of any kinds, there is a lot of things that you can do to support that event through your bot and to make that event grow. A lot of things that you can do before the event happens, during the event, and then of course getting that valuable feedback and feed forward through the bot after the event is done. Whatever kind of events you have, if you have them online, if you have them in person, whatever you're doing, a bot can help support that and help keep connected. That's the tough thing about events. Sometimes we spend a lot of money, we book flights, we do all the things, we get there, and there's not enough time to talk to everybody. imagine if you could talk to everybody at that event. You can through a bot. And there are a bunch of things you can do. If you're interested, come talk to me. I'm always available. And you guys are the greatest audience ever. You knew that, though.
Totally. So, from Wiltshire in England, it's goodbye for now. RJ and I will be back at 12 p.m. Eastern next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.